Yawgmoth. Both of these players sitting at 8-1, and it is going to be Robert Pompa on the play, kicking things off with a Young Wolf.
Yeah, and this Golgari Yawgmoth deck, certainly plays very differently than the Simic Birthing Ritual deck, where this is a deck that's certainly capable of putting a lot of relevantly sized creatures onto the battlefield to actually try to rumble with what the Boros Energy deck is doing, whereas the Simic deck is just playing a bunch of 2-mana 1/1. So, here you can play the Young Wolf that can block if you need. You can also play Delighted Halflings, and you can ramp up to try to get to something big. So, if you can keep your life total at a reasonable amount and then get that Yawgmoth in play, the Boros Energy deck could find itself in a tough spot.
Well, things getting kicked off here with a Dredger's Insight and a wealth of choices here for Robert. Yawgmoth, Grist, and the Badger Mole Cub, the latest inclusion to this Yawgmoth deck, and really feels like it has helped the deck level up a bit. I think Yawgmoth was falling out of favor as the creature combo deck of choice in the modern format until the printing of this Badger Mole Cub in Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yeah, I mean, the card is just simply ridiculous, right? Like, it can just give you access to so much mana on turn 3. Imagine a hand with turn 1 Delighted Halfling into turn 2 Badger Mole Cub. All of a sudden, on turn 3, you have access to 7 mana.
Right.
Or 6 mana, rather, and it's completely ridiculous.
Right. So, with that said, it is going to be the Yawgmoth picked up by Robert as we go back Ryan's way, kicking things off with an attack from the Ocelot Pride into a Voice of Victory and getting that cat token on the end step. So, what can Robert do here? Still very healthy thanks to it being early in the game, and that Dredger's Insight setting up for essentially the infinite combo, just missing the second Young Wolf now.
Yeah. Now will Robert, the deck does play Green Sun Zenith. You could perhaps search for another Young Wolf if you want to set that.
Or just have it.
Or just naturally have it. So now you just want to get to 4 lands and try to, just hope that Ryan doesn't have some way to break up that interaction.
Right. And taking a look at the main deck here from Ryan, there are 4 copies of Galvanic Discharge, but you'll need another energy that you don't have to use that to answer Yawgmoth. So that's off the table currently. Thraben Charm, if you are able to connect with the Ocelot Pride here, but that's a question of whether Ryan has a way to break that up as well. So a few awkward positions. We'll see what Ryan is able to do here, kicking things off with a shock from Sacred Foundry. No spells to be cast from Ryan.
Bombardment is very, very strong here, though.
That's a good one.
Especially with that Voice of Victory going in.
That's the combo. Mobilize plus Goblin Bombardment. It is one of the strong combos that this deck has access to, and it's an incidental combo. Your deck isn't built around it. You only have 2 copies of Voice of Victory, 3 copies of Goblin Bombardment, but when you assemble the 2 together, it does just look incredibly impressive.
Yeah, the Goblin Bombardment's primarily in there to pair with, of course, a Johnny. That is the combo that can just single-handedly win games, but the fact that Voice of Victory also makes tokens, Seasoned Pyromancer makes tokens, and Ocelot Pride means that it just does a ton of work in all these creature matchups.
Oh, and the city has been blessed, so we are creating 3 extra tokens here, and those 2 warriors are going to be shot. Just doing the math and making sure that you can't 14
Is this enough damage for lethal? Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Both Young Wolves getting shot and coming back with counters, but this means Yawgmoth is no longer able to start a full chain. However, killing them now does mean that the Spymaster's Vault does connive for 2.
Is it for every creature that's died this turn? So
it is.
2 tokens died, and the Young Wolves died, so this
4.
might be a connive for 4.
Right, so you need to kill the target.
Right, so in response, yeah. So that fizzles the connive, and now you also have 2 extra tokens to deal with the other Young Wolf. So if Robert just slams Yawgmoth, it's not going to do anything.
Right, Yawgmoth does nothing now on this board, and that Goblin Bombardment just completely swung the game and probably won it for Ryan Mullens in a position where he was looking kind of doomed otherwise.
Yeah. Yeah, gonna check this this Golgari deck, given that it's a creature combo deck, I can't imagine that it has any kind of sweeper type effect in the main.
All right, well, Windswept Heath finds a forest, and we'll see if Robert has any follow-up. You have to feel like it is do or die in this position. I just don't really see the do against the board state that Ryan has set up here.
I mean, Yawgmoth was kind of the card that he was needing to use here, but as you can see, Ryan quickly dispatching of that Young Wolf, and now it's simply just a 1/4 because Yawgmoth requires you to sack other creatures, so it itself can't do anything.
Right, and that means with Voice of Victory and Ocelot
Flage.
Pride, you are just able to clear off the Yawgmoth and I think just clear off the game.
Right? I mean, this is what, an attack for 5 coming in, putting Robert down to 10.
Right, and then 4 tokens getting made on the... Sorry, 5 tokens getting made on the end step.
If 5 tokens get made on the end step, that will be 10 damage.
Yeah. Send those to you, make those, and...
Get some cats. Yep. Oh, excuse me. 7.
Right, one of those tokens was already in play from the previous turn, excuse me. So 1 short of lethal, but I mean,
that being
really,
said, there is nothing Robert can do on this board.
Okay, so game 1 going to Ryan Mullens. From the face of nearly being comboed out to 1 Goblin Bombardment and the entire game is yours. Incredible stuff here. Looking at the sideboards, let's focus on the Golgari Yawgmoth deck. We haven't seen that in the feature match area this round. What are you looking at here from the sideboard?
So the Fatal Pushes, of course, make a lot of sense. That's definitely going to be coming in. If you are interested in more creature interaction, you could bring in the 3rd copy of Grist the Hunger Tide as well out of the sideboard. And then we also saw the effect of the Goblin Bombardment. So perhaps you also want to bring in that 1 copy of Outland Liberator just to make sure that you have an answer to the bombardment, because that card single-handedly won Ryan that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there any consideration for Scavenging Ooze in the matchup?
No, I think
good
it's
against Flage, but that's it.
Yeah, I think it's simply too slow. I feel like Scavenging Ooze is probably better against decks that are looking to utilize its graveyard. Now, if you do feel like you have, once again, it's kind of in that slot where if you have a good card to sideboard out, you can bring it in.
Right.
But I wouldn't treat Scavenging Ooze as, oh my goodness, this card will single-handedly swing this matchup.
It's not the priority.
No.
All right, so on the other side, Ryan Mullens' sideboard. Anything you're considering here?
Yeah, I mean, taking a Celestial Purge can be a consideration. Now, most of the cards are green, but the most important creature to kill, of course, is Yawgmoth. So Celestial Purge is an answer to that, along with an answer, as it is also an answer to Grist the Hunger Tide. So could consider bringing that in. There's Wrath of the Skies. You're on the draw, but I don't know if you want to bring that one in either, because you're kind of your role is the aggressive player in this matchup. So I don't know that you want to bring that in either. Now, if you feel like the game's going to go a little bit long, then you could bring in perhaps a copy of The Legend of Roku, which is kind of a new card from Avatar: The Last Airbender, which people are bringing in and is a replacement to Showdown of the Skalds, which is a card that people have previously been playing as a card to bring in for the grindy matchups where actual cards do matter.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Paul. The Legend of Roku / Avatar Roku, because if you're looking to pick up The Legend of Roku or any cards from Avatar: The Last Airbender for yourselves, well, they are available now on StarCityGames.com/MTG-TLA. Magic the Gathering Avatar: The Last Airbender is the most recent set release, and for all your single and sealed product needs, you can get them at StarCityGames.com. And that includes, of course, the Badger Mole Cub. We haven't seen it make an appearance yet in these Yawgmoth feature matches that we've had, but I'm just dying to see it in play, Paul.
The thing is, it needs to kind of enter the battlefield on turn 2, so we need to see... I want to see the Delighted Halfling into Badger Mole Cub into I have all of this mana. We'll see if we can pull it off this game.
Step 1, check. Delighted Halfling is going to be the play here in Game 2 to kick things off for Robert Pompa. On the other side, Ryan Mullens is going to shock into Galvanic Discharge, saying, I don't want that curve that Paul just described happening, because imagine if you're able to go land, Cub, tap the Halfling, play something like a Dredger's Insight.
Right. Or another Cub, even.
Right.
Hey, but are we going to see it? We might see it here. It's going to be a turn 2 play. It's going to be Dredger's Insight.
I've been waiting.
Cub. Can we cub it up?
I've got my singles from StarCityGames.com.
Company man. That is the Outland Liberator, I believe.
Yep. So the Liberator coming down is a nod, as you mentioned, to that Goblin Bombardment.
But Ajani Nakaro Pariah enters the battlefield. Such a powerful card. Just a card, good card by itself. But then, you know, when you do pair it with that Goblin Bombardment, it can go. It can just get completely ridiculous, especially in this creature head-to-head.
Right. So what is going to be the play here from Robert? I believe I saw another copy of Spymaster's Vault in the hand there. And that is going to be the first play. But the follow-up is Grist.
Okay.
All right. Liberator trades with a Johnny. You have a cat token left. My Grist is dead.
Yeah, but I think Ryan is very, very happy with that exchange, right? Like, you lost your Johnny, and they lost 2 permanents.
Right. And their whole turn.
Right. I mean, of course, Robert did this because he probably didn't have any other choice to do so. But on Ryan's side, that is obviously an exchange he will take every single time.
Right. So 3 cards in hand for Robert. Ryan should have a decently full grip here. What is going to be the follow-up? We're assuming the Cat Warrior is killing Grist every time. So the question is, do you have further pressure in something like a Seasoned Pyromancer?
Yeah, Ryan just kind of figuring out, what can Robert do next turn? I already know that the Cat's going to be attacking the Grist. What else do I want to do?
Guide of Souls kicks things off, and another
Wow.
Johnny.
Okay, so now that Cat can go to the skies if you want.
Right. 3 energy made, and
Yep.
it is going to get that pump, just making the most of it. Grist down, and a full board for Ryan Mullens. Going back Robert Pompa's way, what can he draw to really get the board under control here?
Yeah, that's the thing. Robert has no creatures in play. Typically, you would say Yawgmoth, right? You're like, okay, I'm going to just try to play a bunch of random creatures and then slam the Yawgmoth and have that get it done. But, I mean, this board state is already tremendous, and the Yawgmoth that really doesn't play any sweepers, so there's no reset button when boards get out of hand like this.
Right, we've seen other iterations of the deck bringing copies of something like Culling Ritual in the sideboard that would look fantastic here, but there's no copies of that in Robert's build of the deck, so really relying on you being the one that is doing your thing, and Ryan has been very proficient at simultaneously stopping that from happening while presenting pressure.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just the fact that he had to run out that Grist turn 3, to me, that's almost like a sign of weakness. It's like, that's really your best play that turn. What are you working with right now?
Right. All right, well, Malevolent Rumble kicked things off. I did also see a Green Sun Zenith in the hand there. What does the Rumble hit? Delighted Halfling, 2 Soul Cauldrons, and a Dredger's Insight. Soul Cauldron feels like the first step to this game being a win, but I don't know if you have the time for it in Robert's seat, and perhaps you need that Dredger's Insight to just gain a life and try to dig further.
Yeah, I mean, we're already looking at a 2-turn clock here from Ryan's side. He's got 8 power in play.
Oh,
Will
and
he have
there's
the
a
time?
Soul Cauldron in hand already alongside a Yawgmoth. So
okay.
almost certainly either the Halfling or the Insight now.
All right.
Saying I need the mana.
Just get an extra blocker in there, and if Robert is working with something like a Yawgmoth, right, just having extra creatures in play would do some work. Missed a land drop as well, it looks like.
Yep.
Wow.
All right, so back Ryan's way we go. No energy to work with, but a full board. And we'll see what things are going to look like here. I feel like if Ryan just kicks things off with a Flay to remove this Delighted Halfling, this game will be all but over.
Right.
I mean, it already feels pretty
There's
over,
so
but
many cards, but Goblin Bombardment, right?
I mean,
there are so many cards Ryan can just have right here that can just completely close the door.
All right, well, it is going to be everybody attacking. So an attack for 7-8 here, but Delighted Halfling can present a pretty free block on the Guide of Souls. So 7 damage currently coming across if that's the block. The question for Robert is, can I afford to not chump, or can I afford to chump and lose the mana from the spawn?
Yeah.
He's saying
needs
the same
mana.
thing. Yeah.
He needs the mana. All right, and there is Ocelot Pride here generating energy. And do we have the City's Blessing again? We have 8 permanents in place, so we will be 1 short, it looks like.
Right.
Yeah, unless Ryan can play out another thing, but doesn't need to. 2 energy here. Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride, such a nice combination here as well. And if you're on Robert's side, it's like, what are you thinking? What do you want? Do you want to go land Yawgmoth? Is that even enough? You're at 9 life. You're not going to have enough to combo off. You can, shoot the Ocelot Pride maybe, but at this point, Ryan's also sitting at 2 energy. 1 more energy means you can also make one of your other creatures go to the skies.
Right. Yawgmoth is offering essentially no help here. It doesn't look like you're being offered any help from the Soul Cauldron in your graveyard, in your hand, and all doors feel pretty shut here on Robert.
Not to mention, Ryan probably just has an interactive spell in his hand with the 2 mana up.
Right. If he had a creature, he probably would have cast it to get the City's Blessing. So it does feel like he has something being represented in hand.
Thraben Charm.
Thraben Charm, exactly.
Yeah, Ryan's feeling pretty comfortable. You see him with the smile there. It's like, you know what? I like my spot.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
And look, starting the day off with a win always feels great. 8-1, moving up to 9-1. There's a lot of Magic yet to be played today, but this is the first step for these players on their way to the top 8, and I don't think it's going to take much more from 9-1 to guarantee your Pro Tour qualification as well.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan is in excellent shape here, and wow, I mean, this Boros energy deck just, especially when you just play against decks without a lot of interaction, this Golgari Yawgmoth deck, can play a lot of permanents onto the battlefield, but it really doesn't have room for that much actual removal. There's a handful of fatal pushes, and you're really leaning on the Yawgmoth, but that's it. So when you have Guide of Souls, Ocelot Pride, Ajani going, it just can't do anything.
Right, and it's hard to make a one-to-one comparison, but given that this is what we watched in the feature match area this round, I do think there's a question of, between the creature combo decks, whether Yawgmoth is just a step weaker than something like the Simic Birthing Ritual deck. Just the longevity that the Birthing Ritual decks seem to have in it, with all of the card draw that it has access to that come on creatures rather than Malevolent Rumble or...